Hello everyone, my name is Ethan Colbert with Century 21 Parker and Scoggins Realty. Today I have the pleasure of being with Missy Williams here at First Baptist Church Preschool, and we're here to describe a little bit about what brought this over here and how we got connected, and what we'd like to do with informing the community about what y'all promote and what y'all do for the local community. So how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. So let's describe your business a little bit. So go ahead. I'll let you describe it.
Okay, so I am the preschool director here at First Baptist Church Preschool. We are a small preschool that offers a part-time preschool. We are licensed, and I think that's important because there are a lot of rules that you have to follow, and there are people in place that are going to make sure we're doing those things.
Mm-hmm.
But just a small preschool. We offer a couple of options, 3 days a week, 9 to 12, or
Okay.
9 to 2.
Okay. And how long have y'all been established here?
This is our 12th year.
Oh, wow.
We did take 1 year off for COVID.
Okay. So you've been in 12 years, and are you just now deciding to kind of like promote your the preschool department over here, or what?
No, I mean, we promote it, but I wouldn't say in the way that a lot of places do.
Okay.
Ours is a lot of word of mouth.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole kind of focus here, is being able to get that word of mouth out and be able to, have our promotions directly. But also, a lot of people don't know about these businesses, so that's what I'm focusing on, is bringing to their attention a lot of these great places that they may not know about. So, well, going into that, can you tell me a little bit about why you chose this profession in particular?
Well, I've always had a love for kids.
Yeah.
So I always knew I wanted to do something working with kids. And growing up, I babysat. I have been a nanny.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny how God brings you through things in your life. Just, my husband's a pastor, so we've moved around a little bit, and everywhere we've moved, there's always been something available for me to do.
Yeah.
And now I see that God used all of those things to bring me exactly where I am today.
Mm-hmm.
My love for children, I have a love for administrative work, and He's combined both of those and brought together with preschool. So
That's awesome. That's fantastic to hear. Passion is so important to have behind your work ethic, because if you don't have it, then you don't have the ethic to work and do the things and accomplish what you truly set out to accomplish. I think if we're deprived of that, then we're just half a cup full rather than anyway. So, well, that's awesome to hear. So what was it like when you first started 12 years ago compared to what it is now? And you said y'all took a break through COVID. So can you hit on like the differences in between pre-COVID and post-COVID?
Sure. So starting off, we were very small. It was myself,
Mm-hmm.
one other person that was helping with chapel, and one other teacher. I was teaching and doing administrative work in the afternoon. So the first 2 years was like that. A lot of work, because we started off with nothing.
Uh-huh.
And no budget, nothing.
Yeah.
And so we built up to that. Now I have 5 teachers, and I think we're doing fabulous. I'm okay being small,
Mm-hmm.
as long as we are still quality.
Yeah.
And that's so important to me.
Yeah, of
That
course.
we can be small all day long. That's totally fine. I don't have to be a big preschool, as long as it's quality and it's what God's called me to.
Well, and trusting too, because as an outsider from my point of view, I've got a young son, and you want to put full trust in who you're putting your children in care with. So it's one of those that, like, of course quality matters. It's not quantity at that point, because it's your loved ones, your children. So,
That's right.
which is one of our most important things in life. And so anyway, you just want to make sure that they're being tended to. And that was actually kind of a question I had going in my head, was, when dealing with all of, children and other people's children, have you developed some coping skills and patience techniques to be able to, not jump to anger or frustration?
Sure, Sure. In fact, all my teachers will tell you they know at the drop of the hat I will be there to get them out of a situation if they're like, I have reached that limit.
Yeah.
And I know if I stay in this room for 2 more minutes, it's not going to be good. And they will call me, and I'm there to say, go get a Coke,
go
to the bathroom, take a walk around the building, whatever you need to do to just remove yourself from the situation just for a second.
Mm-hmm.
As mom, I'm a mom of 3 children myself, and so I get it. That it can be very difficult at times with our children. They can push our buttons. They know what buttons
they
to
sure
push.
Do.
And so, absolutely, you build those coping mechanisms to know how to handle those stressful situations, to handle, honestly, not just kids, but parents even.
Yeah, I'm sure.
At times. In fact, I say a lot of times that my job is as much taking care of kids, their parents, as it is the kids, honestly, because I have mamas come in that they're tired and they question if they're doing a good job or not. And when they walk in those doors, I can say, you're doing a great job. You're a good mother.
Yeah.
Go home and take a nap. We've got your kids for a few minutes, you know?
That's awesome. Yeah, it's when you're away from them, you have that thought process throughout your head of all day of, I hope he's doing all right, or how are they doing. I know my wife sends messages to our daycare takers all the time, like once or twice a week, to say, hey, checking in on Kate, seeing how he's doing, so we just want that feedback too.
For sure.
So what would your customers say that they love most about y'all's business here?
I think it's probably the small classrooms, and on top of that, teachers that have the same passion I do. They have a passion for children, to learn, to teach, to watch them grow and discover and explore and all of those things. But parents knowing that their children are safe and loved, and they can walk away and not have to worry about them for the day. I think we're all looking for places like that.
Do y'all plan on getting, so if you have any other, employees or people that would be willing to, fit that role responsibly, would y'all be looking to potentially expand any or add on rooms or anything like that? Because you said small rooms, if you're limited.
We are very limited. The church has been great to allow us to use their building, but we are limited on space. We're kind of boxed in, if you will, to the amount of rooms that I can actually open up.
Right.
But that's okay. We're actually in a building program right now. Our church is, and we're hoping to be able to build a new building in the next few years.
Good.
And
as long
we'll
as
see what God has
support it,
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I was just curious about that because I was also, which was going to lead to my next question. Are y'all full right now, or
we are full?
You are full. Is there a waiting list?
There is
period?
a waiting list.
How long is that typically?
Usually, it depends. It honestly depends. We've not. There are times that people are on the waiting list and they don't get called. For the year, and they found another place that works for them, and that's totally fine. But we usually always have a little waiting list every year. I do my best to fit those in that I can, and and if you can't, you can't,
Yeah, well, these kids stay in for a year at a time, so it's not like the turnover's that fast.
That is
right. It's realistically, you got to have that expectation, and my wife and I dealt with that too when we moved to Sheridan. It was, a year of being in Benton because nothing was available locally. So that's just how it rolls.
That's right.
Okay, so what were your greatest challenges that you had to overcome when establishing this and continuing this business?
I think probably my greatest challenge was myself, honestly. My husband and I moved here 13 years ago for him to be the pastor, and we had been here probably less than a year when I really began to feel like God was calling me to open up a preschool. That's what I did at our last church. I taught preschool, 4-year-olds, and I realized after 1 year of doing that, oh my gosh, this is what I'm meant to do.
Yeah,
this is
awesome.
what God's has for me to do. And so when I moved here and I began to look around and realized there are a lot of daycares, and they're quality daycares, don't get me wrong, but there are a lot of daycares, but I don't see any preschools. And so God just began to use that, and within weeks I had so many people say, we don't have a preschool around here. There's nothing like that. I can't tell you how many people told me that. They didn't know that I was even thinking about doing that. So I did it, but definitely myself was the biggest, my own fears and insecurities, and can I do this? Am I qualified? I don't have a teaching degree.
Yeah.
So you can see how those fears and things can get in your head, but I've learned that what God calls you to, He equips you to do.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as I stepped out on faith and did what I felt like He was calling me to do, things just began to fall into place.
That's how He works, and not meant for us to know or understand, but you just use the signs, and they work for your favor. So you just got to pay attention. Well, that's awesome to hear. I love it, and I align wholeheartly with that segment and everything that you had said. So let's talk a little bit about your most memorable experiences here. Can you name or think of one of your most, out of the 12 years, most memorable experiences you've had here?
For me, one is hard. But when preschoolers remember their preschool, because they're 2, 3, and 4, and so many of them don't ever remember preschool days. But when they can remember, that was my school, I used to go to school there, then that's a great thing for me. And I actually had this summer, one of the preschoolers that was one of my first 2 years, she came back to me and she said, Miss Missy, I want to do what you did.
Really?
What you did for me in preschool, that's what I want to do.
That's awesome.
So that's a great...
Makes you feel accomplished.
It does.
And rewarded.
I did what I was supposed to do, and
I'm sure.
It's a great feeling.
Yeah, that is. I mean, hearing that feedback from someone else is more rewarding than any materialistic thing you can receive,
Yes.
Life-changing events that played a significance to other people. So
For sure.
I think that's really neat. Well, so who from your childhood had the biggest impact on you, and what did that person teach you?
I think it would have to be my mom. My dad passed away when I was 16. So you grow up a lot, but watching my mom handle that situation, having 2 teenagers at home, not knowing what she was going to do, but how she put her faith and trust in the Lord. I remember waking up every morning and walking into my kitchen and seeing my mom's Bible opened at the end of the table. Sorry.
That's okay, dear. I understand.
And knowing that she had started her day out,
Putting her faith in the Lord.
that was huge. Teaching me what I need to do as a mom, just as an individual, to put my faith and trust in Him every day. He will not disappoint. Others can. I'm going to disappoint others, but God will never disappoint us.
That's true. Yeah, I've actually implemented that every morning to my family practice. So, I mean, I even have it. It's funny, a little bit of TMI, but on my mirror in my bathroom, I've got my list of what I'm going to do each day or for that day, and primarily it's just my important things, like meditate in the morning, have family prayer every morning before we all go our separate ways, and establishing that connection with the Holy Spirit and God every morning. So I feel like that's been the biggest necessity and change in my life that I've had to develop as of hitting really my late 20s to 30s, because just something changes in you, and especially with having a child and everything like that, you realize how much of an everyday battle you really need Him for.
Yes.
And so it's just one of those things, because it just gets harder and harder,
Yeah.
The days we get older. And so he's more supportive and more needed the older we get to. You know, it's crazy. But I've noticed that through my own personal reflection. So it's helped my family go a long way.
Mm-hmm.
But well, sorry to go on a tangent here,
okay.
but I saw you tearing up. But I appreciate that because it's right at home, and so hopefully it does for everyone else as well. You know, I think that's a good thing to do. All right, so last thing, when your life is over, how do you want to be remembered?
That's a loaded question, but I hope that people remember me as loving and caring, genuine, funny, lighthearted, but most importantly, that people saw the light of Christ in me.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't do anything else in this world but that, then I've done something right.
Yeah.
That I can rest assured in.
Well, I'm sure you're already pretty successful on that end. So.
Only with him.
No, it comes off just through personal interaction. So I'm sure you've affected a lot of other people already. And there's many more to come.
That's right, hopefully.
So, all right, dear. Well, let's go ahead and give some closing statements on how to get in contact with you if anyone has any questions or they want to get on the sign-up sheet or anything like that.
Yes.
So that way I can put it on the screen for them.
Okay, so if you are interested, we do open registration in March of every year. So check out our Facebook page, First Baptist Church Preschool. Or you can call our First Baptist Church of Whitehall, and they will get you in touch with me.
All right. And this is Ethan Colbert with Century 21 Parker and Scoggins Realty coming at you with the Grant County Gang. Checking out. Thank you so much. Come to me for any of your real estate needs or property management needs. Thank you.
Thanks, Ethan.